story of Lugubanda is the oldest story in the world. It was told through many generations and was found on clay tablets. We wrote this place so that you would know it too. A long time ago, in a place called Mesopotamia, a king ruled over the city of Uruk, which is found in modern-day Iraq. Uruk was a great city, but not the best of all. There was another city, a great city called Arada, found in the Maldives. The ruler of Uruk wanted his city to be the best city in the world. He wanted all the precious metals that Arada could mine.
I shall take over the great city known as Arada. I will assemble a great army, the largest ever created, and I will expand Uruk to be the greatest city ever.
So King Amarkar ordered his army to travel with him to the mountains, and some of the warriors were Lugubanda's brothers. Lugubanda was the youngest and the weakest of the 7 brothers, yet he admired his brothers greatly and wanted to join the army. So he followed them as they marched out with the troops. When they came to the Zabu Mountains, they rested for 7 days. As they started to climb more mountains, Lugubanda fell ill. The 7 brothers rushed to his side and carried him to a shelter, to a cave, where they laid him on a blanket and made a fire. Lugubanda was so ill, the brothers couldn't decide if they should leave him or stay.
What shall we do? We can't leave him here. Well, we can't carry him with us through these mountains. He won't survive. We'll have to leave him here in the cave. Then we must give him the bags of food and water.
They left the cave weeping and continued up the mountain. Lugubanda slept for 2 days, and on the 3rd day he woke as the sun set. He got on his knees and prayed for strength to Utu, the sun god.
Oh, great sun god Utu, let me live, please.
The sun god heard his pleas and shone his last beams of light on him and let him live. And then he was awake. Then the moon rose in the North Star. Lugubanda called to the moon god Nanasuan.
Oh, great, almighty moon god Nanasuan, give me back my strength.
The moon god heard his prayer. Then he lastly prayed to the North Star goddess Inanna.
Oh, great Inanna, bring me home. I wish to hear laughter again.
So Inanna came to his cave and wrapped his heart in a wool blanket, so warm and soft it put him to sleep.
I have heard your pleas. I will do what I can. Sleep now, little one.
Lugubanda awoke with all of his strength and set out to find his brothers in the Lulubu Mountains. When he walked out of the cave, water and crops appeared in every step he took. He made it to a mountain so bare there wasn't any life in sight. By banging 2 pieces of rock together, he made a fire. Using the provisions he had, he made some small cakes to eat. After hours of searching, Lugubanda rested.
I'm hopelessly lost.
Lost and alone in the Lulubu Mountains, Lugubanda rested, for all of his strength had gone. When he awoke, he found his eyes looking up at the terrible Anzu bird, with teeth as sharp as knives and claws like an eagle. It was so big, it blocked out the sun with its wings when it flew. Lugubanda was not afraid, no. He was thinking to himself how high it could fly and how strong it must be.
If I could somehow please this mighty bird, then it might take me so high in the sky that I would be able to see my 7 brothers from above. But how can I do this?
Then Lugubanda thought of a wonderful idea. He waited until the Anzu bird flew off to hunt. Then he crawled into the nest. There Lugubanda treated the Anzu chick like a god. He fed the chick with honey cakes that he had made, and meats and herbs. He painted his eyelids with coal and wrapped the chick in garlands of cedar and flowers. When he heard flapping, Lugubanda spun around and saw the Anzu bird returning. Lugubanda hid behind the nest as it approached. The Anzu bird had a dying bull in its feet. The bird was calling to its chick, but the chick had so much food in its mouth, it couldn't call back. Then the Anzu bird was worried.
Aye, where is my chick? Why does my chick not answer my call?
When the Anzu bird landed, he was amazed and delighted at what he saw. A fragrant garland on the chick's head, kohl around his eyes, and meat hanging from branches everywhere.
My chick looks like royalty in all this splendor. I'll grant a wish to whomever has done this.
Then Lugubanda sang a song to the bird.
O Anzu bird with your sparkling eyes, your feathers like a garden to look upon, you have heaven at your head and earth at your feet. For treating my chick like royalty, I'll grant you the armor of a king. and arrows that bite like vipers, and darts that fly like moonbeams.
No, I do not want these. Instead, I would like to be able to run around the world and never get tired, and my arms wouldn't feel sore, and I could find my 7 brothers. In return, I'll have carvers make statues of you so you'll never be forgotten.
As you wish, but no one can know this, or I shall follow your fate.
Then Lugubanda listened to the Anzu bird's warning and ran with great strength through the mountains until he came upon the army of Yuruk and his brothers.
Lugubanda, how did you survive? How did you come back from the mountains of no return?
I snarled like a wolf, I drank from the rivers, and I pecked at the ground like a wild bird.
Then Lugubanda joined his brothers in the army as they marched and marched until they arrived at Arad. They thought that they could conquer the city in a matter of days. But before they could even draw their swords, more stones than a year's worth of raindrops flew from the city. They couldn't. Hours turned into days into weeks into months, and months into a whole year. They couldn't get anywhere because the mountains were blocking their path.
Lugubanda, take cover now!
No, I want to fight for our great city of Uri.
The king prayed to the North Star goddess Nana for guidance, but she remained silent.
Why do my pleas for help go unanswered? Why are my prayers ignored? We must send someone to find Anana in our home of Europe.
The king needed someone to go, but if you went in those mountains alone, you would die. No one would answer the king's request.
I will not go, it's too dangerous.
I will go, great king, but only if I can go alone.
You can't go. It's too far of a journey to go alone. No one will ever survive in those mountains.
Lugubanda, please, don't go. You only last a moment by yourself.
I can only go alone or I will not go at all.
He has to go. We need to find Anana in our home of Europe. I promised the goddess that if she aids us, I will break my shield and end all wars.
So the king handed Lugubanda the symbol of Europe, which was called the standard, and told him not to lose it because the city of Europe was in his hands. Lugubanda ran over 7 treacherous mountains without getting tired. Once he saw Anana, he dropped to his knees.
Anana, you commanded King and Markar to come to York and make the marshland into a great city. Why have his pleas for help gone unanswered? Why is he losing the battle against Arata?
He must not destroy Arata. He must restore the city from the damage he has done and bring the craftsmen and metals back here. Only then will he have victory.
I shall tell him.
Good, my little prince. Now go. But remember, King Amarkar must not wage war against Arata.
Lugubanda ran and ran back to his brothers and the king, carrying the standard of Europe. And when the gates opened at Arata, King and Markar broke his shield to end all wars and helped to rebuild the city.
I am so proud of you, Lugubanda. You have destroyed this great city and brought peace back to York.
Eventually, Lugubanda became king of Europe and had the woodcarvers from Arata make statues of the Anzu bird, just as he had promised.
You have done well, Lugubanda. See what great wars come to you when there is no war.
Be thankful for what you have and not what you don't.
This play is a true story. My favorite Christmas was a Christmas many years ago, during the first winter of the Great War in 1914. We were young, just boys, lonely and frightened, trying to be brave. We had spent a month in the muddy trenches that we now called our home. We knew there would be no break in the fighting and that we would be spending Christmas in the trenches. That Christmas was a night like tonight. Skies were clear and frost covered no man's land. The grassy fields separated us from the Germans. We stared out toward our enemy, waiting to see who would make the next move. That night we figured it would be the Germans, and we were right. The sentry whispered for silence. We hushed and a ghostly sound cut through the night air. The lad who knew German was first to speak.
They're singing quite well, you know. That's a Christmas carol.
Savior was born on Christmas Day to save us all from Satan's power when we have gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Thank you, everybody.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Round young virgin, mother and child, holy is so tender and mild. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Somebody's coming across the field. Everett.
A single figure was coming across no man's land. In one hand, he held a white truce flag. In the other was a tree shining with candles. It was so surprising and brave that I leapt out of the trench and ran to meet him. Soon everyone followed. Soon they were all trading chocolates, tins of meat, whatever we had to share. We were no longer soldiers, no longer enemies. We were sons and fathers, far away from our families and loved ones. We sang and played music, and then someone had a ball. It was quite a Christmas party. Dawn came all too soon to remind us we had to go back to our own sides. Back to the trenches, back to the waiting. Wondering what had happened and what the next move should be. That is my favorite memory. I'm a different man because the boy I was that day. Was I a hero? Yes, for one night we were all heroes. The end.
Christmas night, the trenches, when frost so bitter hung. The frozen fields of France were warmed when songs of peace were sung. For the walls they kept between us to exact the work of war have been crumbled and gone forevermore. Songs steal in the
as you can see, we tried to make it a little shorter this year. Everyone, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, have a lovely holiday. We'll see you all tomorrow, and then have a great break. Thank you.